What is going on, guys? This is the roster construction video for this Thursday 5-game NBA slate. Remember, guys, it locks an hour later than normal. I will be live streaming at 5 p.m. Central Time, 2 hours before lock. So pretty much after most of you guys watch this video, I will be live streaming. So make sure to go check me out at twitch.tv if you want to get some of your questions answered. And then, of course, I will be live streaming privately. Link will be up 30 minutes before lock, answering all your guys' members. And I know we got a bunch of new members today, so welcome to you guys. Hope you guys have enjoyed your time in the Discord chat so far. But let's just get right into it. So basically on DraftKings, it's pretty straightforward for me today. If you're playing one lineup, playing cash games, you're probably going to end up playing Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, the matchup doesn't get any better. I mean, he's averaging 1.75 fantasy points per minute on the season. And without Middleton on the court, I mean, he can't do much more than he's already doing with Middleton off the court. So as long as this game stays competitive, he's playing a Chicago team, terrible on defense, terrible rebounding, the worst team in the league in rebounding. So should be an absolute monster spot for Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I think there's plenty of value to get to him. The two other lineups that I like today, or players that I like today that I think you should be locking in the majority of your lineups are Kenrich Williams and Jarrett Allen. You know that Jarrett Allen has been getting the majority of these center minutes. Him and DeAndre Jordan split the 48 center minutes each and every game. This matchup is way better for Jarrett Allen against Nikola Jokic, rather as opposed to DeAndre Jordan. Jarrett Allen has been in severe foul trouble the last two games, which has costed him minutes, which has cost him fantasy points, and which has cost him his price. Now he's down to 4.2K. Now we don't typically predict foul trouble, so in this case at 4.2K, I fully expect him to be playing 28 plus minutes this game, I would imagine. At 4.2K, it's hard for me to get away from him. Absolutely love him in this spot. I know it is a tougher spot against Denver. Kyrie Irving should be back, so the game should be competitive. Like Jarrett Allen quite a bit today, averages over a fantasy point per minute. Kenrich Williams, 4.5K. He's been getting massive minutes lately. And if Brandon Ingram misses, which I expect him to, and actually let me check, I just got some updates on the slate. And if Brandon Ingram misses this game, then it's going to be Kenrich Williams playing massive minutes yet again. No news yet on Ingram, but it is a 7 p.m. Central Time game, so we will know ahead of time. But as of right now, assuming that he's out, I love Kenrich Williams to play mid-30s minutes. We know they like to go small, and it's going to be really easy to do so against this Clippers team who likes to play Montrezl Harrell, an undersized center, for the majority of the minutes. So I like both these guys. And then you're going to have to make a decision. So if you're playing Giannis, I think that you only play one of these guys between Luka. Trae Young's in consideration. I just like Luka quite a bit more for $400 more. Or Kyrie Irving is only 8.8K. Severely underpriced. He got upgraded from questionable to probable. He's probably my favorite play in this range, just because he's simply underpriced. Against a Denver team who's solid on defense but can't get exposed to point guards. We know how bad Jamal Murray is on defense, so we like Kyrie Irving quite a bit tonight. Jrue Holiday, I like him with or without Brandon Ingram, but if Brandon Ingram misses this game, I like him even more at 8.2K. And then Lou Williams only 7.7K. Patrick Beverly is out as well. Kawhi is out, but I think that if you just swap Kawhi with Paul George, the rates are going to be somewhat similar, but I don't know the minutes quite yet on Paul George, how many he's going to play. I would imagine it's in the 28 to 30 range. Wouldn't expect him to play any more than 30 minutes. So I think Lou Williams with Patrick Beverly as well sitting, he will probably start at point guard, and we know Shamet is out as well. So we could see Lou Williams start. We could see Rodney McGruder start, but Rodney McGruder, I wouldn't expect much out of him, even though he is so cheaply priced. I wouldn't go there. I think that Lou Williams would play mid 30s to high 30s in minutes. And he's averaging 1.3 fantasy points per minute with Kawhi off the court, but obviously he's going to be replaced with Paul George. So I can see a solid game out of him. I slightly prefer Jrue Holiday, and I definitely prefer Kyrie Irving to him. And if you want to pay up even more, I like Luka Doncic quite a bit. So I think you're going to have to find one of those guys And then you go down here into this mid-range where I like Spencer Dinwiddie. He has an amazing rates. He's second on the team in usage and assist percentage behind Kyrie Irving. But the thing is, with Caris LeVert off the court, he will see like a slight uptick in minutes. We saw last game, he ended up playing 24 minutes. He was in really bad foul trouble in the first half, so he missed out on 2 to 3 minutes there. And then they ended up closing the game with Garrett Temple, which is something you don't like to see. So I think he's a fine play at 5.7K. But guard is really weak today when you're not looking at the top price guys. So in the mid range, I think Spencer Dinwiddie is fine in cash games, and he has a lot of upside in GPPs. So I like Spencer Dinwiddie quite a bit. In the mid range over here in the forward and center spot, I love Derek Favors tonight, averaging about 1.1 fantasy points per minute this year. Jahlil Okafor is questionable. If Okafor misses, I think Derek Favors, who has been playing 29 minutes of games the last couple, I think he plays around 32 minutes, barring foul trouble. A decent matchup against a guy like Montrezl Harrell, not the best defensively. And another undersized guy. So Derek Favors at 5.5K, one of my favorite plays on the slate, especially because he's forward and center eligible. Makes there's a lot of flexibility to getting him into your lineups. I like him quite a bit. And then one of my favorite plays of the day is Aaron Baines. I think he's going to be really low owned. This is kind of my guy today. Only 5.9K against an Atlanta team who's bottom 5 in total rebound percentage, a bottom team in effective field goal percentage, one of the fastest teams in the league. So a pace up spot for Aaron Baines. The last couple of games, he's been dealing with some weird situations. He was in foul trouble against Brooklyn, still put up 30.75 points in 18 minutes. And then this last game, his backup, Frank Kaminsky, came in. Kelly Oubre got into foul trouble. Kaminsky got hot because of that, because he had the opportunity with Oubre off the court. And so they gave Kaminsky extended run in that first half. So that's something that I'm not expecting. I think that he ends up playing 32 minutes, just like Derek Favors in these normal conditions. And it's a great matchup against Atlanta. And he's averaging 1.3 fantasy points per minute on the year. So I love Aaron Baines today. He's going to be incredibly low owned. I think he's fine in cash games. And I think in GPPs, you're probably going to get him at like 10%, maybe less. It's going to be like the JaVale McGee situation yesterday in terms of how much I love the player comparative to their ownership. Now we get down to the values. Like I mentioned, I love Kenrich Williams. I love Jared Allen. And the other guys I like a lot today are JJ Redick. We know Josh Hart is out again, or he's out this game. Redick played a season high 37 minutes last game. I think he plays in these mid 30s minutes yet again. They're going to need his scoring without all of these guys on the team. So I'm not afraid of be playing 3 or 4 of these New Orleans Pelicans, especially given all of their respective prices. And I forgot to mention at the top, if Brandon Ingram plays, I like him a good bit. I don't imagine they would play him if he wasn't fully healthy. So I would play him at 7.5K and feel comfortable with it. I would like him slightly more than Lou Williams. So I love JJ Redick today. These guys stand out. JJ Redick, Kenrich Williams, Jared Allen are my clear top value plays. And then we go down to a couple of guys. It's kind of a crapshoot between JaMychal Green. He's been getting more minutes. We saw that Pat Patterson got the start yesterday, and then a couple minutes in, JaMychal Green ended up coming in and played 32 minutes the rest of the game. So I like JaMychal Green quite a bit, and we see that against teams with undersized bigs like New Orleans, he tends to get more run because he is a big and he gets some extended run in those kind of games. He's gotten at least 10 rebounds the last 3 games. I like him quite a bit today at 4,000. DeAndre Bembry, the other guy that's in this price range that I like quite a bit. He's the clear fantasy producer. Outside of him, Hunter, Cam Reddish, Kevin Huerter is out for a couple weeks. He's played 40 and 30 minutes the last couple games. Regardless, hasn't been good on a per minute basis just because he's been playing a lot of his minutes next to Trae Young and Jabari Parker, which isn't good for anyone. But if he continues to play 30 plus minutes in this game, he has his hand in everything. He can get boards, he can get assists, he can do scoring when he needs to, he can get steals and rebounds as well. So he's a real well-rounded player, and if he's playing 30 plus minutes, I think he's a really good play today. This game should be competitive between Atlanta and Phoenix. And then if you want to take some dart throws, Cam Reddish should play 28-30 minutes, I would imagine. He's 3.3K, point guard, shooting guard eligible. I would avoid him if you could, but if you're trying to fit in a bunch of these high price players, you might have to go there. And then Dennis Smith Jr. I think is a GPP dart. I think that if I were going to play one of those guys in GPPs, I would just take a chance on Dennis Smith Jr., who has a lot higher upside playing against Dallas. He just returned last game, and if he steals the minutes from Frank Ntilikina, he could play 28-30 minutes. He could close this game, which would make him an amazing play, but for the most part, I'm going to be avoiding him unless I'm playing GPPs, and he's more of a GPP like dart throw. Like if you're playing 150 lineups, I might have like 10 lineups of him. But yeah, those are my general thoughts on DraftKings. Over here on FanDuel, it's pretty easy today. I want to play Aaron Baines. I like him more than Nikola Jokic comparative to their prices. I know that Jokic is in a great spot and he's too cheap still at 9.6K, but my guy today is going to be Aaron Baines. I think Jared Allen is too cheap over here as well at 4.9K. I'm kind of going backwards, but and I think Jabari Parker at 7.2K is too cheap as well. At point guard, it's a bit tricky. I like Trae Young comparative to Luka Doncic just because you're saving $1,100 on DraftKings. I prefer Luka Doncic just because he's only $400 more. You can play Kyrie Irving, but I slightly prefer Trae Young for only $300 more. If I'm playing in this mid-range, I like Ricky Rubio the most, more than Jamal Murray, and I think that's going to be a bit contrarian, but I'm completely fine with that. And then if we're going down here a bit, I think that without Chris Middleton, I think George Hill's minutes are a bit more secure, and he's been a great fantasy producer this year. I mean, it's different from years past, but we got a pretty large sample size so far this year, and he's been great in the minutes that he's been given. So I think he's a really solid play, especially in this matchup against Chicago. Now over here, Lou Williams at $7,000, just too cheap. It's pretty simple. He's just too cheap. I think that he's a must play over here on FanDuel. Drew Holiday for $1,500 more. I like him, but with Lou Williams, I would only play him if you're playing him with Lou Williams. So, and then you go down here, it's the same thing. Spencer Dinwiddie at 5.5K is really cheap. I like JJ Redick a ton, but for $500 more, I'd much rather go to Spencer Dinwiddie. If you're paying down, DeAndre Bembry is going to be your guy. Now you're going to want to have Giannis Antetokounmpo, one of my locks over here. And then you're going to have to pay down. I think that Brandon Ingram, it's interesting at 8.7K. If he plays, we will get that news. So I will be talking about that in the private live stream when we get that news. I think paying down for Taurean Prince at 5.4K is interesting, or Kenrich Williams at 4.7K. I would prefer not to come down to Cameron Reddish at 3.5K, but I understand if you have to. But I would rather pair Giannis Antetokounmpo with either Kenrich Williams or Taurean Prince, whoever you can fit in your lineups. So yeah, that's pretty much my roster construction on both those sites. If you have any questions, hit me up in Discord. I will be live streaming at 5 p.m. Central Time on Twitch, and then I will be live streaming privately for you guys 30 minutes before lock. I'll throw that link in the description, in the NBA tab on the site pretty soon, and so I will be there 30 minutes before lock. All right, guys, best of luck today. Make sure to ask me any questions if you have some. Let's kill it tonight again, and until next time, peace.